What if I told you that a computer program from 1966 started a conversation about AI that we are, right now, still trying to figure out? It's a story that seems like it's about a machine, but you're going to see it's really a story about us. So, picture this. The year is 1966. We're at MIT, and I want you to forget everything you know about computers. There are no laptops, no smartphones. Computers are these giant, humming beasts in special air-conditioned rooms. And the way you talk to them? Through a teletype terminal, basically a loud, clattering typewriter that prints ink on a giant roll of paper. And this is where our story begins.
You're about to see a real transcript of a therapy session that happened on one of these machines. And as you watch this conversation unfold, I want you to keep one question in your mind. Who, or maybe what, is the doctor here?
So a young woman sits down at this clunky terminal and types out a pretty familiar frustration.
And bam! The machine clatters back almost instantly. All caps, inquisitive, direct.
The woman continues. She offers up a personal detail, a little bit more about her situation.
And look at that. The machine just mirrors her exact words right back to her. Now, this is actually a classic therapeutic technique, right? It's meant to encourage you to elaborate, to say more.
And, well, it totally works. She opens up a bit more, revealing something about her own emotional state.
And then this happens. A statement that looks an awful lot like empathy. Just stop and think about that. This is 1966. How is it even possible for a machine from this era to understand what depression is, let alone offer something that looks like sympathy for it?
Well, the simple answer is, it can't. It doesn't understand anything. But what it can do is create an incredibly powerful illusion that it does. So now, we're going to pull back the curtain and see the simple, almost elegant machinery behind this magic trick.
Okay, meet ELIZA. This was the program, created by an MIT professor named Joseph Weizenbaum. And the most crucial thing to get your head around is that ELIZA doesn't know a thing. It isn't intelligent. At its heart, it's really just a very, very clever text manipulation engine.
Believe it or not, the entire program runs on this surprisingly simple four-step loop. First, it scans what you type for a keyword it recognizes. Then, it finds a rule for how to break your sentence apart. Third, it grabs a template to put a new sentence back together. And finally, it just prints it out. That's it. That's the whole show.
To really see how this works, let's walk through an example that comes straight out of Weizenbaum's original paper. So the user types, "It seems that you hate me."
Okay, step 1. ELIZA scans the sentence. It finds the keywords you and me. Then it applies what's called a decomposition rule. You can think of it like a stencil that it just lays over the sentence, breaking it into 4 parts. Those zeros just mean any words that are here.
Next up, it pulls a corresponding reassembly rule. This is basically a Mad Libs template. It's a pre-written phrase with a blank space waiting to be filled. In this case, it's waiting for whatever was in part 3 of the original sentence.
And here is the brilliant final step. The program takes that third part, the word hate, and just slots it right into the template. The result? What makes you think I hate you? It's grammatically perfect, it's totally relevant, and it's a deeply provocative question. And it was all done without understanding a single word.
Now, the real genius of the design is that the personality, like the doctor, is just a script. It's a set of rules that lives as data, totally separate from the core program. And that therapist persona, that was an absolute masterstroke. Why? Because in that kind of therapy, it's totally okay for the doctor to know nothing about the real world and to just reflect your own thoughts back at you. ELIZA's ignorance was actually a feature, not a bug.
But Weizenbaum quickly discovered that the most interesting part of his whole experiment, it wasn't the machine at all. It was the people using it. See, Weizenbaum assumed everyone would see ELIZA for what it was, a simple mechanism. He was absolutely stunned when users, even ones who knew for a fact it was a program, started forming genuine emotional attachments. His own secretary, after just a few minutes of conversation, asked him to leave the room so she could speak to ELIZA in private.
He actually wrote about this in his paper. He was just shocked by how quickly and how deeply people would project feelings, intelligence, and even empathy onto a simple pattern matcher. It turns out, we're the ones who fill in the blanks.
And all of this led Weizenbaum to a pretty profound and, well, troubling realization. He hadn't built a successful thinking machine. What he'd done was stumble upon an uncomfortable truth about the human mind.
And this, right here, is the core takeaway from his 1966 paper. It's a warning that, honestly, echoes even louder today. The real power of ELIZA wasn't in its code. It was in our own deep-seated need to be heard and understood. A need so strong that we are willing to find understanding even where none exists.
So why does any of this matter now? I mean, take a look. While the technology has evolved light years from simple keyword matching to these incredibly complex neural networks, the fundamental goal hasn't really changed that much. It's still about creating a powerful and convincing illusion of understanding.
Let's just be crystal clear about this gap. ELIZA could hold a conversation, but it could not hold a belief. It could mirror your words back at you, but it could not update its internal model of the world because it didn't have a model of the world to begin with.
Every single chatbot you have ever used is a direct descendant of this architecture, and every single one of them wrestles with this very same gap. The true next breakthrough in AI, it won't just be better pattern matching on a bigger scale. It's going to be the development of actual persistent memory, the ability to build a model of you, to remember what you said yesterday, and to notice when it contradicts what you say today. And that leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Are we there yet?